So why is a book better than a business card? In fact, I'm going to share with you two big ideas. One is how you can use a book to get introduced to celebrities. The other one is I'm going to teach you what I call the $1,000 to $100,000 Sharpie trick. All that and more in this next video. All right, so why is a book better than a business card? And I will also share with you a really fun celebrity marketing story and something I call my $1,000 or $100,000 Sharpie pen. So, one of the things that I have learned is giving a book away to someone that you meet is the single most powerful way to get introduced to someone. Period. End of story. And I will take you on a little journey right now, and that is one day on a flight to Austin, Texas, I was on my way to South by Southwest. And up ahead of me, I saw a couple people there chatting, and one of them said, "Hey, do you see who's in front of us? It's Richard Dreyfuss, the actor." And well, I peered around, and of course, he was sitting there. And Richard is one of these guys I've always wanted to meet. He's a really fascinating guy. He's got lots of opinions. And of course, I grew up back in the day of Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He was a really interesting actor, but also he showed up in Mr. Holland's Opus, for example, a really, really intense film that I really related and connected to. So what wound up happening is I looked him up and I had realized that he had a nonprofit organization, something I'm on a topic that I'm really, really passionate about myself, the idea of civics. It turns out I know a few things about raising money for nonprofits. My wife has a nonprofit and I've raised a couple $1 million for that with a variety of people over the past few years. So on my way out of the plane, I walked up to Mr. Dreyfuss and I said, "Mr. Dreyfuss, my name is Mike Koenigs, and I have an idea that will help you get more attention and raise more money for your foundation." At that point, I handed him my book, which I had something special written inside that I'm going to show you in just a moment. He turned to me and he said, "Call me Rick. I need you. Where are you going? Because if you're going where I'm going, we can sit together and we can talk a little bit more." Well, to make a long story short, first of all, let me show you this picture because that was us sitting next to each other on the ride to Austin from where we're at. He had managed to get the stewardess to get us to sit next to each other on that flight. And 2 weeks later, here he was in my studio and I was interviewing him, which was quite the treat. So what's the secret formula? Because yes, that was kind of a happenstance opportunity. Yeah, we're on the same flight. But the fact that since then, I've used this exact same strategy many times over to get the attention of people that I want to connect and meet with, whether they're VIPs, CEOs, or celebrities as well. And inside this book, I'm going to actually share and show you my magic formula right now. And that's where the Sharpie comes into play. So let me show this to you right now, and I'm going to read this to you as well. So take a look at this. What I do is I write, "Hi, so-and-so name, great meeting you today, and here's one of my formulas. It's I have an idea that will," and it could be help you make more money, raise money for your foundation, get more attention, get in the media, get in the news, whatever it is that you promise and you can help someone with. And then I make it personal. I'll say, check out page 55, for example, inside my book. I make it relate to the book. And I say, because it's something you can use right now. So again, I want to make this something that's an action step. And then I say, hey, text me at this number. So in that case, 858-500-3796. This, for example, I always put my mobile phone number in my books, or email me. In this case, I put MikeKoenigsShow@gmail.com. Looking forward to connecting soon, and I sign it with something like that. Well, here's what happens. People remember you more than a business card, for example. Everyone's handing out business cards. Everyone's got a business card. They don't throw away books. Books have a lot of value. They just have inherent value, and if you're handing that off. The other thing is if someone is speaking, for example, at a live event, you don't have to stalk them, but it certainly does make a little more sense. If you're an author and you're walking up to another person who's an author, it's sort of like you're in an even club. you've got a connection, you have something in common with each other, and again, you stand out in the crowd with each other. So I'm going to give you a couple other bullet points right now on why I think a book is so important. So first of all, your book equals access, income, and power. And the next thing is it's the one thing that your readers will have an opportunity to take you to bed with them, okay? It also gives you that additional gravitas, the authority, expert status, and a voice. And it's like getting an exclusive VIP ticket to a private members-only club. My little example, my story was just one of those, but I've met a ton of people this way. It helps you become competition and recession-proof. It gives you access to CEOs, VIP, the media, and celebrities, and allows you to bypass the formalities and get down into business with what I call a perfect package. And again, what do I mean by a perfect package? Well, when you have a book cover made and you get to say, here's what it is and here's what it's for, people remember you. And in this day and age with social media and texting and every other doodad going on, something physical that has value is remembered. It's a great way to get attention. And the same is true. Look, a book can take on multiple forms. It can be a Kindle book, of course. It can be an audio book. It can also become a roadmap for your entire social media broadcast message that you may have. But it definitely is something that I take with me everywhere I go. I've always got 3 or 4 copies of my book and a handy-dandy Sharpie pen everywhere I go, ready to introduce myself to anyone that I want to connect with. All right, for more information on how to be seen, heard anywhere, anytime, any device on demand, head on over to youeverywherenow.com. And something that I would love is if you would subscribe to this video right now, post a comment, and share it with your friends.